YouTube fans. Better later than never. Boom, 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 boom. Jaws 2, why not? I've reviewed the original, The Tacit by Steven Spielberg. I know we reviewed these before. It's not like the anniversary, because the anniversary is more to do with number one, but I figure, why not do the sequels as well, including that one. But moving on, let's talk about a good one, being Jaws 2. Now, I said it when I did my favourite. Is it as good as the first one? No. But I still think it's unestimated. I still think it's a good film. So let's not review it. Why not? So, originally, just like the book of Pete the Bentley, they did sort of a book version of this. I do know the book was going to be more on the movie, I should say. Was going to be more like a prequel, meaning it was going to be to do with Cheed and a longer, do have an actor play a longer version of him. Obviously, it couldn't be the same actor because Roy Saw, pronounce his name, I'm rubbish with names. Roy Saw, we all know he played Cheed. Sadly to say, the same year when this was being made, sadly passed away of an heart attack. He sadly passed away. We lost a good person. We lost a damn good actor. And I praise his son, because his son is remembering his father by doing a tribute. It's on pay. You go on theatres and on pays. He's doing a pay at the moment with the actors. Some made look like, one made look like Roy Sider and so on. And they're all in this thing on the boat doing the story, and his son is playing his father's character. I thought it's like to when I seen that one day, but a good tribute to a good actor. I like him. I like Roy Soy, because that's his name right. He was the one who played the villain in For Muscle with Love. Remember the villain who had the Watts and he fights for Sean Connery and Sean Connery gets the better of him? That's Roy Shaw. Did a lot of other good films, but everyone always remembers him in Cheed in Jaws 2. So they was going to have a longer actor play him. It was going to be on the island. It was going to basically just be like the story. But if you want to see the second one, the original prequel, sequel, I just watched the original Jaws where he's telling the story about the tiger sharks, about the bomb that had been top secret. Because that's it. That's your film. So they didn't want that eventually. They wanted to bring back Roy Sider, his family, his wife, the island, the editor, and so on. So they did. For some reason, they got two different kid actors. So why they didn't have the original actors, I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to be typecasted. Maybe they wasn't asked. There's other different reasons. They've got the lad in it. Well, I would find the older lad was interesting. I remember saying this before. Because he looks exactly like the guy who we all know being in Jaws 3. He's funny enough, he's the same character. And again, I can't remember his bloody name. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. Right. Stephen Cheed. That's it. Shit with names. Stephen Cheed. He actually looks, the young lad. Well, say the older lad. He looks like a longer version of Stephen Cheed. Which I think is funny because, like I say, when he got to 1983, they do have Stephen Cheed. And then you got the little lad, may rest in peace. I know he weren't a young lad when he sadly passed away. Very adorable kid. Very sad. But, you know, he's just your typical cheeky lad. So I don't mind it. It's professing. So I do actually like the music. I like the fact that it's faithful to that one. As you got the boom, 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 Jaws theme. You got a different type of theme at the beginning. And it's like, it's very loud. It goes, bloom, 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 bloom. I'm not going to do the rest. And you got two deep sea divers. They have a love letter to number one because you see the ship, you know, the ship what sunk from number one when they blew the shark up. And they're taking photos underwater. Then you got the tape music. How can it be tossed about that? Boom, 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 boom. And then you got the idea that the two divers have been eaten up by the shark. And that's something else I like about this. You see more of the shark. I think with the original it made it because the shark didn't work, but they wanted to. And like I said, if you go into the things I like about Jaws, you know, the original used the mechanical one from the original. Because it was left in all weathers, it sadly got destroyed. So they had to work from scratch and get another model of another mobile shark. This one, happy to say, because of all the mistakes they had in that, they knew now not to put it in certain water, not to put it in colder water, not to leave it here, not to do it there. And they got it working. So this shark worked beautiful. You start to see a lot more of the shark. a lot of people laugh at the director, but this director took on a big challenge because you could never beat Steven Spielberg. They asked him, did he want to direct the second one? He did not. He was doing Toasting Outings. He was very thingy on sequels. So Steven Spielberg said, no, he's not going to do that. So this other director took a challenge. Yeah, he did Santa Claus the movie, and I think he worked on Jupiter as well. But I think he did a good one here. And I know he's sadly no longer with us. But this director, people will laugh, but he was on a sackle of the fake shark, moving about. It looks hilarious. I'd love to have seen it. It looked funny as fuck. He's on a sackle on a shark, moving around with a tam knot to get the socks. It looks like funny. Imagine a guy sat on a shark. Take right, with a film tam knot. So the shark's not real, but you get what I mean. It looks laughable. But he did it. And I give the guy praise because he takes some good socks, some good tam socks. He used the motor off the shark. He used similar good ideas to Steven Spielberg. And for people to justify saying he's not as good as Steven Spielberg, and you got people doing 2 reviews and saying Steven Spielberg did that, didn't do that, that's unfair. Because this guy was taking on a challenge and filling these shoes, and directors do things in different ways, and I think he did just as much of a good job as Steven Spielberg did. I'll say it again, he did just as much of a good job. He did. But anyway, moving on. So you've got that. You've got them celebrating Anna Phil. You've got this beautiful looking girl. Be careful, Pete. Dale bait. And so on. And you got the dad again. I do know they had problems getting one-sided. The Pisces role is very bold there, but eventually they got him to do it, but he said he's only going to do it one more time for this. That's why, I'll get to that when I review that one, why he wasn't in that one or that one, which you got to look at Stape on that one. But nevertheless, I still think he did a good job. A Serif Boulder, even though you can see bits here and there, his heart's not in it, he still did a good job. Boy Sider, may he rest. And again, you got a lot of good death scenes. I'm trying not to do this as long as I did the original one, but this to me super serves a lot of respect. It had a lot of deleted scenes, which I'm not going to talk about. Just watch my deleted scenes, it's probably still be up there. But again, you got a lot of good death scenes. I'm going to forget the scene where the girl's on the street, you got the shark, it comes up, gets her, you got one woman, she falls up both up there, by accident gets killed herself, but she burns the sack on half of its face. So this one, like the original one, I looked at an horror film, and almost like the Miggle was an adventure film. I look at this as a slasher. This to me is a slasher. What's funny enough is it come out the same year as Halloween, the original classic Halloween, 1978. This to me is like Michael Mathers as a shark. Think about it. You've got teenagers. Got young boys, young girls want to do what they do best, going water boating. You got them getting attacked by, instead of being a man with a mast, it's a take right shark with half its face burnt. I love that. I think it made it more different, it made it more unique, made it more scary. And I mean, there's a bit where they find a dead whale. And all the way through the film, Serif Boldy is trying to convince people that lightning does its ice. It's not safe to go into the water. I love the love letter before it kills that deer on the street. You got the fin what goes up and it's moving, right? And then it goes down, and then it goes again. That's a love letter to that. They were damn hard making this film. So, like I say, all the way through the film, Serif Bold, he's trying to convince people he's not mad, there's going to be another shark. He finds a photo of the bird divers, rewind what I said at the beginning. He knows it's there, he's trying to convince people that it's not an accident. The mayor doesn't listen to him. He's got this one guy who, which I did say a lot was in the deleted scene, who's got it in for Serif Boulder. That's the bit where I wish I had that deleted scene. Go back to that, you know what I mean? And they fuck him off, and they sack Serif Boulder. They sack him because they think he's... That he did something stupid. He had a gun, he was shooting, and he was shouting at everyone to get out of the water. And it turned out it was a false alarm. And that's no reason why they got rid of him. But halfway through the film, the young people go on, just like they did before, they get tapped by the shark. The shark holds them pissing off. There's one bit which I feel does have a hit to it. They've got this one Bordeaux, and she falls in the sea as the young lad of Serif Boulder. And she almost gets there, but she slips on the water. You think she's going to get a lucky escape. She doesn't. And I salute the film for that, because she's trapped. She's trying to get out. The shark comes to toss, boom, and gets her and eats her. For that era, I thought, that's some balls. That's some balls. There was one scene in it where a young lad with his girlfriend, he falls in the water. I do know that this lad could not swim whatsoever. And they had to have a rope on his waist. The poor lad was scared shitless. And they had this motor and it just dragged him out of toss. You see that feel like the shark is dragging him. And it does, he gets killed. And you get a bit of the board of the boat snaps. That power that this great white shark is a beast. And this great white shark means business. I like that. I thought, I like them little tutsies. It does to find the poor girl. She's still alive. She's in shock because she's just seen a boyfriend get killed by a great white. Another bit where she's done good performance, really good performance. She's stared, you see the fear in her face. So both his wife is comforting on. She just, and she shouts out, "Shark!" That's it. You know it. Why Side Doctor had to prove to the people he did. He goes on the boat. There's a bit at us where the helicopter, I really love this in the theatre, where the helicopter gets dragged down. I do say it. There's a deleted scene where the great white was attacking this poor guy under the helicopter. Sadly to say, you can only ever find it on a Dutch VHS. You can only find it on a Dutch VHS. You can get it on DVD, but it's just a deleted scene. I'd love to see that scene added back in, because it really is a good scene. But we get it where people loved it in the theatre, or they said, "Oh, shark eats helicopter." I love the theatrical opening when it came out in '78, where you got the big fangs of the shark when people walked in to see it. I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, I did. I actually like Jaws 2. And I actually like the way he outsmarts it, because instead of blowing it up like he did in that one, he gets an electric wire. He's banging his electric wire, because he had this woman when he was talking about the dead whale, about sharks and the way you can get them by sound. So he does that, bang, bang, bang. The great white's coming in, it opens its mouth. He says that saying, come on, smile, come on, say, ah. And it gets electrocuted. I love that scene. It's really frightening. Its eyeballs are blowing up. It's burnt to fuck. A little bit of the little lad, Moive, very sad. But I love the bit where he said, I didn't do it. They made me do it. And the voice side, he doesn't so really angry, he isn't pissed at him, you know what I mean? But he just looks at him and says, just they did, come here. They get on the boat, sails off, gets that beautiful end store, end of movie. I know what, a tear comes to my eye now. One, because that little lad is sad to say the actor is no longer with us, very sad. Two, Roy Sider, another good actor, sadly no longer with us. And it's the last time we get to see him as Sheriff Brody. And I do think he did a good performance. It's also sad for the actor who was the mayor, because at the time his wife had cancer and he didn't want to he wanted to leave the set. And I respect the director for this. I respect the company, because they're really in work and do all these bits all in time to see his wife. And sad to say, well, happy to say his wife lived, but sad to say a couple of years after, he passed away with cancer, which I think was sad. But I respect the movie for doing that. I respect the studio for doing that. We got another good actor, the one that played the mayor, Moive. I was remembering Anna Full of Horror as well, the original one. And a few good actors who are no longer with us. A damn good director. He's not as good as Steven Spielberg. He still does a good job. You want to see a bad Jaws film? Get to that one. Believe me, that will be a rant. Jaws 2, I don't see no faults in it. I think it's a damn good, unestimated sequel. Yeah, I'll repeat what I said. Is it as good as the first one? No, nothing will ever be as good as that. But I still think it's still a good one. I still think it's good. I like the fact the shark has burn on its face. I like the fact that the shark doesn't fuck around. And again, the dad get past the MPA, the dad keep it a mild rating, but nevertheless, the death scenes in it really good. The shark don't fuck about. You get the feel of it. I love it. The director still did a good job. So for that, why not? A 14-star rating for me, because I think it's a good one. But into them, be smart, be safe. We'll be on for a talk about that one. And just so sometimes I look at my comments. Someone gave me a comment saying Jaws 3, they liked it. So if the person who's watching me today, thank you. You're right, Jaws 3 is an underestimated one. And I will look forward to doing the review of that one. I don't know if they did deleted scenes, but I probably will talk about the different versions of the film. And I'll say why I like the film. And then I'll review the film, because I think Jaws 3 is a hell of a lot better than that. And I think it's an underestimated one, and I respect it. The fact that they tried to do something different. You see, sometimes different is not a bad thing if it's done the way they did it. Well, I'll get to that when I do that. But to that person, yeah, you're right, Jaws 3 is a dud one. So I'll be looking forward to doing that. But until then, be smart, be safe, and just before, as I say in the trailer, just before you thought it was said to go in the water, I'll be reviewing that one. See you later.